we're going to tell you what happened to Esther. You're the first ones to know about it. And it's awesome. And it may help you to understand through the practical nature of this conversation everything that we've been saying to you since we got together here today. How you doing? All right. So Jerry and Esther put together, you know, Jerry, he croaked. He's so happy. And here all the time. So Jerry and Esther found a piece of property, and it was just a few acres, and focused on it, and then in their positive attention to it, another 6 acres adjoining it was offered to them, and then another 7, and then another 20, so that they ended up with approximately 40 acres. Jerry laughed about that because he grew up on 40-acre farms, and so he thought it was quite interesting that this lovely land became that. And then they began loving it and building on it. And if you've been listening to us for a while, you've heard us describing the unfolding of the treehouse and the unfolding of this and that and this and that and this and that. There are hundreds of powerful, life-giving examples of how the universe works that they lived, and many of them we talked about. So now here's 40 acres, and Esther just did her income taxes, and she's aware of the enormous upkeep on this acreage. And she's thinking about, Jerry's not there, and it felt like it was their dream, and now he's not there guiding it quite in the same way. And Esther found a house in town and moved from the property. She was living on the property, and so she was beginning to feel some detachment from the property, which didn't feel good to her, but it felt like she was being called there. And so as long as she didn't focus on detachment from the property, she didn't feel uncomfortable. As long as she focused on where she was going, she felt wonderful. So a series of things unfolded, and we're not going to take the time to explain all of them to you, but a whole sequence of things began unfolding in Esther's experience that were all that kind of property related, and things sort of clicking into place for something that Esther hadn't received yet, so she didn't even notice that things were clicking into place. She'd get a piece of it which didn't mean anything, and then another piece of it which didn't mean anything, and then another piece of it which didn't mean anything, and all the while she's just busy coming out to see you, not spending hardly any time on that property. And on that property there are man-made waterfalls and river streams and ponds. There's a tree house and beautiful buildings with Buckminster Fuller's creation of a parabolic hyperboloid roof, or it's a paraboloid hyperboloid. Esther can't find the words for it. It's a weird roof, nothing like she'd ever seen before. So anyway, here's this property. And so then as all of this is there, we want you to feel the pre-Jerry and Esther conversation about this. One day, this is going to be very meaningful to you. We know it doesn't feel like it's about you, but it's everything about you. As you get this, you're going to get everything. So one day, many years ago, Jerry and Esther were walking on somebody else's property on a hot summer day, ducking under the cedar trees. And they came out into a little pasture, and Jerry said, "Can you feel this?" And Esther said, "What is this?" And Jerry said, "There must have been happy people here." And they just stood and basked in the deliciousness of that little meadow. And then many years passed, and they bought the 6 acres and the 7 acres and the other and the other and the other and the other. And now they've built what they call their center building. It's the heart of Abraham-Hicks Publications. And at the far end of this long building is the office that Jerry and Esther set aside for themselves. And they're sitting there, and Jerry said, "Oh, Esther, I think we're sitting right where that meadow was." He got the plot map out, looked at it, recalled as best he could. Yeah, that's exactly where their office was, right in the middle of where that good-feeling meadow was. Jerry said, "Oh, Esther, will you get Abraham? I really want to talk to them about this." So Esther relaxes, and we join the party in a more obvious way. We're always at their parties, and none of you have any privacy. And Jerry said, Abraham, remember all those years ago when Esther and I were walking and we found this meadow, and now we're sitting right in the middle of that? Was I feeling the happy people that were there before? And we said, no, you're the happy people. So something in the vortex, something already in the vortex, already taking form. They didn't know they had access to it, but they received an impulse and another impulse and another impulse and another impulse and another impulse. So this property is full of all of those kinds of life experiences that gave them and therefore us the opportunity to converse with all of you about the way all of this works. So now Esther and her lovely team were in Asheville, North Carolina a few weeks ago, and they used to go to the Biltmore Inn, and then they outgrew the meeting room, and then they've tried some other places that are nice but not the same. And so Esther got an impulse one morning to go back over there and just see what's cooking over there. Now Esther doesn't usually do that, so she asked Angelica to set an appointment with the people at Biltmore, that she wanted to stop and see what's going on over there. She just wanted to take it in, see it with her own eyes, get a feeling for what they have now. So the woman met Esther at the appointed time on Friday morning, and she had a man with him who has been to Abraham's seminars, who now works there, who is out of his mind excited, who cannot believe that Esther's the one that is doing the pre-work. And Esther said, I don't usually do this, I just couldn't not do it. And so they toured the grounds, found a lovely place for future seminars, wonderful conversation, better than ever anywhere. And their wanting of all of you to come there was so real and vivid. It was so satisfying for Esther. And then they said, how many of you are together? And Esther said, there are 10 of us in our merry band that move from place to place. And they gave them 10 tickets to go through the Biltmore house. If you haven't been there, you might want to go. It's really an awesome place. Vanderbilt built a lovely house, and now the state owns it, and you can take tours, and it will enliven you and enlighten you and refresh you. It is magnificent. So they're wandering through, and they have a sort of contraption that Esther gathered up with earphones, and you come to a sign and you push a button and they tell you the story about where you are. And Esther's not thinking anything about that relative to her property at all. It was just a piece of the magic that's sort of coming together. You're getting the sense of this. Now we're just going to fast forward. If we had 10 hours, if we had 100 hours, if we had really a lot of time together, we could give you all of the details of the vortex and how it was presenting itself to Esther in the unfolding of this daydream. But Esther came out of meditation the other day, and her mind just began to see this Abraham-Hicks publications with guided tours, with people seeing the acreage, seeing what they did here and when this process unfolded. In other words, it is the genesis of everything that is here. And what we want you to hear in this is that for Esther, the healing, you might say, the releasing of resistance, the harmony, what feels like the magic to her, it took all that they'd lived before, even before they were on the land, and all that she's living now, and all that's in her future experience long after she is no longer in this physical body. In other words, talk about a blending of the past and the present of the future into a vivid reality that took her breath away. She could not stop thinking about it. Days and days and days and days and days, streams of what people are going to want to know about the unfolding of all of this, vivid for Esther. Now, is it about some place that we want you to go? No. It's about a dream that we wanted Esther to dream. It's about the life that it flooded into Esther as she allowed, for the first time maybe ever in her life, as she allowed herself to understand the perfect continuity between what was, even before she was in her body, what was, even before she knew Jerry, what was when they first came into the area, what was as it evolved, what was, what is, what's coming. Are you getting any sense of this? We want you to feel where you're going. We want you to not reach for the past. We want you to understand that everything that has been the past is the present, and everything that was the past and is the present is also the future. We want you to understand that in all that you've lived, you've created a reality, and that is the true reality. And that's the reality that your daydreams are made of. That's the reality where all of your power is. Have we gone too far? Did we leave you behind? Are you with us? Are you getting this at all? Can you feel the bigness of who you are? You think that you have to dream the dream. We want you to know you already did. You already put all of the components and all of the ingredients of the most magnificent dreams into your vortex. And when you get into the vibrational vicinity of it, by reaching into the future, by getting out ahead of it, by not beating the drum of what is, by not trying to fix what is and improve what is and remember what is or preserve what is, it's not about that. When you allow yourself to find the vibrational frequency of your vortex, it will show you where it wants to go, or better said, where it has already gone. And as you go there, you'll feel the wholeness of who you are going along. Every regret that you've ever had will fade away, because the power of your now will make you understand the importance of what you lived. Did you get it? And so we want to leave you with these universal, non-physical, inner being mantras. This is what your inner beings want us to say to you right now. And they find you, for the most part, in a more receptive mode than usual. So this is what your inner being wants you to hear from them. And maybe it will be easier for you to hear it through Esther's vocabulary than through your own mind, but you'll be hearing from all of us personally, if it is your desire. You are in the exact place that you meant to be, and nothing is off schedule. Nothing is remotely wrong. Everything is right on track. And from this point forward, your conscious awareness of your motion is going to be a keener experience that you will each understand. There are a lot of people in this world that are here with you, and not any of them came to please you, but many of them will. Don't let them suck you in to forgetting what you heard today and remembering what you learned before that doesn't serve you. Don't look to other humans for your harmonic points. Oh, you're going to find a lot of them. But look to the source within you who will lead you to the humans. Because if you let source lead you, then when it comes, the two of you together will experience the power of the co-creation. You're already doing a lot of that, but you've been doing it unconsciously. You are on the brink of rapid unfolding. The money that you've been wanting is ready for you to receive. Don't freak out. Don't panic about it. Don't take score about it. Just notice it softly. Notice the subtle ways that the universe begins yielding to you so many of the things that you want. And nothing is off limits. You get to have it all. There is nothing that is off limits. Your lover is ready for you. Your money is ready for you. The environment is ready for you. There is nothing that has gone wrong. There is nothing in the world that you need to worry about. There is nothing that you need to push against. There's no place that you need to maneuver yourself to be in order to be at the right place at the right time. You have all of the understanding that you would ever want or need to have in order to consciously be the receiver of all of the things that you've been asking for. Your desires will never end. You're not ever going to feel satisfied. With each new thing that you allow into your experience, more will unfold. And people who don't understand, who begin to watch you, will wonder if you are not a little greedy as you begin to allow what will look to them like more than your fair share of abundance into your experience. Abundance of good friends, and abundance of good times, and abundance of the things that you've already identified that are wonderful about life. You must understand that it is supposed to be that way for you. You are meant to thrive. You came to be the creator of your own reality, and not one of you said, I'm going to create one I won't like. Not one of you said, I'm going to go create a reality and I'm going to hold myself in deprivation and sacrifice. Not one of you said that or meant that. You've just stumbled into that conclusion because you couldn't find your way out of the egotistical entanglement of the Cheesecake Factory menu that you think is what your life is all about. Are you sort of getting what we're getting at?